The first game take of the year, the first of 17, hopefully a few more than that. Like last year. Last year we had 20 of them, the most ever in a season, not counting preseason games. What I liked, what I didn't like, and several other observations from the game. If you want to start lining it up on the phones, you can do that at 301-230-0980. I want your thoughts on Washington's 21-6 season opening win over the Giants. To me, the headline was defensive-led season opening win. The other part of it would be not exactly a perfect day, very sloppy in a lot of respects. It's week one. You take the win, you move on. You know this as an NFL fan. You cannot overreact to what you see in week one. You cannot think that anything that you see is going to be definitive, that you can make a proclamation after week one. Things change, and they change quickly in the NFL. We'll see how quickly they change for Washington. They've got a week 2 Thursday night game. It'll be here before we know it at Lambeau. All right, number one on the list of things that I liked is just the defense. That was a defensive-led victory, no doubt about it. They held the Giants to 3.7 yards per play. When you hold a team to 3.7 yards per play, unless you turn the ball over on offense or you give up a lot in special teams, you are going to basically shut that team down in terms of point opportunities. It is a lot of punts and not a lot of points when you hold a team to 3.7 yards per play. They overcame a lot of penalties and still only gave up 6 points in the game. The Giants had 232 total yards. It's not the worst looking number you've ever seen, but they only had 90 yards of total offense through their first 6 drives of the game, which took them into the middle part of the third quarter. From that point on, they moved the football a little bit, but some of those yards were kind of garbage yards at the end with the game already determined. The Giants were just 4 for 16 on third down. They rushed for just 74 yards, and 44 of those yards came via the scramble by the quarterback, Russ Wilson, and many of those later in the game. They held New York's running backs, Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, Scattaboo, the rookie from Arizona State, 15 carries, 30 yards. 2 yards a carry. We can all do that math. And by the way, the 2 yards on average that their running backs got, they had to work for them because they were getting hit quickly and physically. And it was an absolute domination at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback, Russell Wilson, I think he looks like a backup quarterback. I think he's on his third team in what, 4 years, 3 years? 3 years, right? 3 years. Denver, Pittsburgh, Giants. For a reason. You know, Sean Payton couldn't wait to get rid of him. The Steelers, they moved on from him. It doesn't appear to be a situation where he is going to resurrect his career in New York with the Giants. The Giants were hurting up front with the loss of Andrew Thomas. He was inactive for the game. He is, very debatably their second best offensive player after Malik Neighbors. But God, Washington's defensive front played the game on the other side of the line of scrimmage throughout. Wilson, 17 of 37. Hard in the NFL these days to not complete at least 50% of your passes. He was pressured all day long and pressured quickly. It didn't matter what kind of pass play it was whether it was play action, whether it was pure drop back, whether it was, some attempt at a bootleg. The defense held the Giants in 3 first and goal situations to just 3 points. So their red zone defense was outstanding. It was utter domination. The pass rush pressure, the coverage, the tackling was excellent. I think you could count the number of missed tackles on maybe 2 fingers Luvu had one, I think, on Robinson early in the game on a quick throw. It wasn't truly a missed tackle, but he had an opportunity to get him down. I think it was Robinson. The defense was ready. They played fast. They played competitively. They played urgently, tackling, hitting, just loved it. Again, there is a chance that we will look back and say, well, yeah, that's because it was the Giants. But the speed and the physical nature of the way they played is a mindset, and I think that part of it will carry over. Now, there were a lot of penalties defensively, some of them not real smart. I'll get to those when we get to the things that I did not like from the game. And there wasn't a takeaway. There was an opportunity. Will Harris, who I thought was really good in the game, had a big hit on Russell Wilson that jarred the ball loose on that drive that the Giants ended up kicking a field goal in the first half. Wilson was able to, retrieve the ball. Von Miller was right in the lane of a quick bubble screen. If he had gotten his hands up, that could have been a pick. Quan Martin actually had an interception, but that was nullified by one of the many penalties on the day. But yeah, number one on this list defensively, wow. Now, again, you got to say this, and you got to say it over and over again. The Giant offense might really stink. Russell Wilson might really be a backup quarterback in the NFL. But that being said, the defense had an outstanding day, and I'm going to take the opportunity, because we didn't have it many times last year, to say that Washington won because its defense led the way. Specific players that stood out to me. I thought Daron Payne was awesome. I think I say this every year, so I've been wrong more years than I have been correct. I just am a fan of Daron Payne's talent. I'm a fan of just him in general. Why is that? I don't know. There's something about him that I'm like, God, if you could ever put it together week in and week out with consistency, you'd be one of the better players at that position in the league. He had that great contract year. We know that, and got paid. And this, while it's not technically a contract year, it's a big year for him. He is still young. He is age-wise right at the beginning or in the middle part of his prime years. He was everywhere in this game. Early on, chasing down the screen to Robinson, the bubble screen on 3rd and 11. He got a sack. He had a TFL. He had his hands on at least one pass that he batted down. Daron Payne had an excellent game. I really hope it is, a sign of what is to come. And it may be because of the presence of Javon Kinlaw. I thought early on in the game, even more so than Daron, what was super noticeable was Kinlaw's size and his athleticism. He was a first-round pick. Javon Kinlaw, Adam Peters knows the player, and obviously we thought he overpaid the player, but the player is entering his prime years like Payne, and he's got talent, and his physical stature, and I thought his athleticism and quickness, he was in the backfield a lot. He had 2 pressures. He had a TFL. Javon Kinlaw's presence with that size may have helped Daron Payne. They are probably helping each other. The Payne-Allen combination, we always desired, we hoped, we wished it would turn into something dominant. The truth is, Kinlaw and Payne, talent-wise, size, athleticism, that potential is going to be interesting, because if they play to their best ability, if they get coached and put in the right spots, this could clearly be, a massive change from last year, where the interior of the D-line ends up being a strength of the football team. I thought Javon Kinlaw was really good. I thought the back end overall, look, they gave up some things, not much. The Giants didn't get much. And Malik Neighbors is elite already as a route runner. And he turned Amos around, and they tried a lot of different things coverage-wise. But I thought everybody had moments. I thought Amos had moments. I thought Lattimore had moments. I thought Will Harris had, multiple moments. I thought that, the level of competitiveness and urgency defensively was there from the jump. It's going to have to be there on Thursday night with the short turnaround. I thought Wise stood out. I thought Armstrong had a really good game. I really liked Dorrance Armstrong this year. I thought he played really well at the end of last year, including in the playoff games. Who else? Looking through my notes defensively. Overall, Kinlaw, Payne. Wagner had a decent game. Did have the penalty. It seemed like everybody defensively had penalties. I'll tell you a guy that I thought wasn't in there for a lot of snaps necessarily, but number 55, Jacob Martin, I think he can play. Let me see his snap count. I want to see how many snaps he was in. Snap count for Jacob Martin, 28 snaps in the game. So that's a lot of snaps for a guy that, for those of you just tuning in because it's the regular season, not the preseason anymore, I'm sure you're like, who the hell's Jacob Martin? He's number 55. The numbers got a little confusing, especially without Lattimore in 23. Amos wears 23. Lattimore wears 2. Sanders still 0 for those just checking in. I thought everybody defensively, when you hold a team to 3.7 yards per play and 6 points for a game, despite some of the penalties that kept drives alive, you have had a lot of players play well. I'm just looking to see, did anybody not play well defensively? Noah I got away with a couple of things, including a penalty that was clearly DPI with a face mask, actually. Defensively, really good day overall. Deebo Samuel's on the list of things that I like. Not a bad debut for Deebo Samuel. 7 catches, 77 yards. Had the run out of the backfield, 19-yard touchdown run. I will mention right now, although this is kind of on my list of other things, I thought that could have easily been called delay of game. It seemed like the clock hit 0, play clock hit 0, and that there was an extra beat. I'll go back and look at it again. It was just something that I wrote down. I thought it was going to get called. He had a drop, over the middle, but it wasn't a perfect throw. Health is everything for Deebo Samuel. If he is healthy this year, we know as NFL fans what he is capable of. The Deebo Samuel and Javon Kinlaw additions have the potential to make Adam Peters look really good. Just one game. Deebo's got to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, best quarterback he's ever played with, a coordinator that's going to use him in creative ways. We're going to see a lot of days where Deebo Samuel did what he did yesterday. Bill Krosky merits on the list of things that I liked. What we saw in the preseason was really good vision, but you saw that at New Mexico. If you went back and looked at a lot of his games, only played once at Arizona, one game at Arizona. He's got quick burst, he's decisive, and he's got speed. He's a good runner. There's no doubt. He's a talented runner. And by the way, they played a good defense yesterday. 10 for 82 in his debut. It included the read option touchdown run where he bounced it outside. It included that big-time 42-yard run from deep in their own territory late in the game. Old Bill, as Kingsbury calls him, was really good in the opener. And let's talk about it. He was up. Rodriguez was down. We talked about last week, early in the week, is it possible that they won't have 4 running backs active? It's rare to have 4 running backs active, especially when 2 of them don't play on special teams, and they didn't. Now, part of that was the concern over Noah Brown. They brought Chris Moore up from the practice squad, had him active, so they had the receiver that we didn't think would be active. It's still possible they'll have 4 running backs active in games moving forward, but just 3 yesterday, and the decision was to go with Bill over Rodriguez, and he made them look good for that decision. Austin Eckler's on the list of things that I liked. Man, he is versatility definition right there in the dictionary. Is his picture. He can be the lead back. which he started off the game as. And I think, now, maybe not at this age and not with the recent injury history, but I think Eckler can get 15 carries a game if you had to go that route. But how about that catch and that shake and that wiggle in tight spaces on that 3rd and 12 to get that first down before I think Debo's touchdown run. He makes people miss in such a subtle, smooth way. It's a very comparing anybody to Emmitt Smith is very dangerous. This is not comparing Austin Eckler to Emmitt Smith, but something about Eckler, despite the 2 concussions last year, as a running back, he just never seems to take a square shot. It's hard to get a straight up hard, heavy hit on Eckler. 2 concussions are probably an example of me being wrong on that. But I think his subtle movement, his feel for space in between the tackles is exceptional. He had 9 touches on the day, 6 carries, 3 catches for 57 yards. You'll take that from Austin Eckler. On the list of things that I liked early on, Chris Moore's catch, man, on that sideline. What a catch. I mean, his first game makes the catch, toe taps, scrapes on that second foot. Outstanding throw, but an outstanding catch by Chris Moore. I love personally everything that's going on in the backfield. It seemed like yesterday, even more than some of the stuff we saw last year, the motions, the doubling back on motions, and then post the ball being snapped, there's so much misdirection in the backfield in this offense. You got counters you think are going one way, but really they're coming back the other way. You got a quarterback that's capable of doing that. And then with the quarterback, because he is a read option presenter and capable of running it, an RPO capable quarterback, Cliff's got a lot of stuff going on in the backfield. It's kind of fun to watch. Also on the list of things that I liked, man, this team's ability to overcome disadvantaged down and distance situations is impressive. In the game yesterday, like we saw it all last year, 2nd and 16, no problem. 2 plays later, first down. Or actually on that one, I think the next play was a first down. 2nd and 21, not a problem. 2nd and 14, no, we're going to keep the ball. 2nd and 15. And by the way, they didn't need 4th downs to do it in this game. Not one 4th down attempt in the game yesterday. On some level, that speaks to a first down offense that's problematic. But they just it's the quarterback more than anything else. And they do a good job on the 2nd and really longs of getting a good 2nd down play of 9, 10, 11, 12 yards to set up a 3rd and somewhat makeable. But these are down in distances, and we talked about this a lot last year, where you are now odds-wise, like basically, at a massive disadvantage. The odds of you punting on 2nd and 21 are very high. Very high. 2nd and 16, very high. 2nd and 14, 2nd and 15, very high. Not for this team. Also on the list of things that I liked, they ran the ball well. Quarterback ran it well, but the running backs ran it well. We wanted to see that. Krosky, Merritt, McNichols ran it well. Eckler ran it well. 220 yards rushing, 6.9 yards per. I'll tell you what, with Krosky, Merritt, and we'll see if Rodriguez gets opportunities. I did not think, and I didn't know the reason why, and we talked a lot about this last year. When you have a quarterback that gets presented as a potential runner, designed or option-wise on every single snap, unless he's under center. And even then, you can boot, into a run. Your running back should benefit a lot more than they did last year. And I think Krosky Merritt's going to benefit a lot from Jaden being a runner. The touchdown run was zone read, and he bounced it outside. It's a little bit different than you usually see, because usually the quarterback's the one going to the outside after he takes it out of the running back's gut. Reading that DN. But I think that you've got running backs this year, including McNichols, who's always impressive when he's in there. But a good day rushing the football. Last on the list of things that I liked, I'm going to put Jaden Daniels on this list. It was not anywhere near one of his best games. It was far from, the long list of great games, really good games last year. But in a game like yesterday against a team that I think will prove out to be pretty good defensively. Now, they're going to struggle defensively if their offense doesn't move the ball at all because they'll just be on the field too often and for too long. But every offensive snap, Jaden being out there, his team has an advantage because of what a defense needs to do to account for him. They've got to account for him as a runner. They've got to account for him with a spy on almost every play. You have to keep him in the pocket. And even then, it doesn't really matter. There's just so much that a defense has to account for when he's out there, and he makes you pay, and Cliff makes you pay for that. Now, statistically yesterday, 19 of 30, 233 yards, a touchdown, no picks. He got away with one early. A little bit late and a little bit inaccurate to Debo on that out route. Incomplete, could have been a pick. He had 68 yards on 11 rushes. The rushes were a mix of scrambles, some very good ones, some quarterback draws, quarterback counters. He had zone read keepers. He's just a phenomenal runner. I thought he took a lot of hits yesterday, some unnecessary hits. I don't love that. I don't love the runs, and these are more, either straight quarterback counter or quarterback sweep. I don't like the plays where there is a chance and a good chance he's going to get tackled in a large heap in the middle of the field. Now, they'll tell you, I guarantee you, that when we run some of those counters, the action is taking the defense away, and we've got a big numbers advantage going to that side. And it's probably true. But, zone read keepers, he's out on the edge more times than not. He's got a chance to get out of bounds. He's got a chance to slide. Quarterback draws, you usually have a chance to slide as well. Look, he was accuracy-wise, not his best day. He was a little bit off, timing-wise, a little bit off with accuracy, threw behind. But still, there were at least 3 drops on balls that may not have been perfect, but they should have been caught. And then the plays that he did make. I mean, he missed Terry on the deep ball early too. Kind of like last year's opener against Tampa. And that could be a timing thing with Terry because he wasn't in camp. That was a great route by Terry to create the separation on that corner. And that could have easily been 6, and Jaden just missed him, overthrew him. Also, real quickly, I thought at least one of the 3 sacks was clearly on him, maybe 2. But some of the throws, man. All right, the first touchdown drive, the throw to Moore on the sideline, the slant to Noah Brown, the decisiveness and the quick release is just so impressive. The touchdown to Ertz, my God, that ball is out. It's out quickly. It is, I hate and dare to say, Aaron Rodgers, Marino-esque in terms of the release. It's so quick. The ball's out so quick with velocity. He really throws slants. He throws over the middle. Remember, that was a complaint. I mean, they just didn't have a lot of over the middle throws because they didn't have 3rd and 6s a lot at LSU that year. They were just crushing people on 1st and 2nd down. But anyway, I digress. His release is lightning quick, and he's so decisive, and he sees it so quickly. That touchdown throw to Ertz, loved it. Loved the way they designed it to get Ertz on a linebacker with Jalen Lane, and Ertz isolated to that, split to that left side. How about the throw where he extended the play, and threw to Debo for, I think, 17 yards? Had that 3rd and 11 throw to Debo on the final drive of the first half. The scramble on 3rd and 7 before Krosky Merritt's touchdown run. I mean, just looking through, I had him as a B+. It was far from his best game, but most of his games last year were A-level games. I'll be interested to see, not that it's the Bible, but I always am interested in the quarterback PFF numbers for Washington. Let's see if anybody's put up any of the numbers because I thought Jaden was every bit of a B plus, worst case in the game.